Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Nacha prana sanko navai panchavayu navasapta dhatu navapancho kosha navapanipadam nachapastu Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Name Vishurago, Name Logo Moho, Vadunaiva Vinaiva Maksayava, Dharma Nacharto, Nakamo Namoksho, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Na punyang na papang na sukhang na dukhang na mantra na tirtha na veda na janya aham bhojanang naiva bhojam na bhota Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Name tu nasanka, name jati veda, pita naiva me naiva mata najanma, nabandhu namitram guru naiva shishva. Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Aham Nirakar Rupam Vidutya Sarvatra Sarvoindriyamanam Nacha Sangatam Naiva Mukti Nameya Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham. Chidarupa Shiva Shiva Shiva
Now we're doing the chanting of Vedic mantra. Please participate. Om Bhagme Manasi Pratishthita Me Bhakti Sthita
ॐ
Om
भगवते प्रतिष्ठित मनोः विभाति प्रतिष्ठित
Sukang me na kahasiha Anina Jitena Ahurasam Swami Swami Satyang Swami
Idam Bodhiswami Shattam Bodhiswami
Amavatu Kadvakaramavatu
Atmavotu Tadvakaramavotu
Avitu Amavutuvakaram
Avotu Mahamavutuvakaram Avutakaram
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
ॐ
Om
शान्ति
Shanti
शान्ति
Shanti
शान्तिः
Shanti
Om Apayanto Angani Bhakrana Chokshu
Om
ॐ
Apayantu Mahangani Bhagavane Chakoshu
Rostramataha Balam Indriyani Cha Sarvani
Param Dhyani Sarvani
Brahma Upanishadam
Om Brahma Upanishadam
Maham Brahma Nirakuriyat Mama Brahma Nirakaro
Maham Brahmo Nityakya Mama Brahmo Nirakara
Nirakarnamastu Nirakarnam me astu
Nirakaramastu Nirakarame Astu
Namaste Moi Santo Te Moi Santo
Dharmaste Mai Santu Te Mai Santu
Om Shanti Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidang Purnamata Purnamudachyate.
Om Purnamadayo
Purnamidam
Purnamidam Purnaya Purnam Udachyate.
Asya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishvate.
Purnasya Purnamadayo Purnameva Vishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Sahano Avatu Sahano Gunaktu.
Om Stanavatu Stanavunatu.
Viyam Karvavahui.
Avyam Karvabahe.
Tejasi no aditamastu ma vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti.
Om Shangno Mitraha Shangvarunaha Shangno Bhagati Aryomaha.
Om Sham Mitraha Sam Varunaha Sam Bhavati Aryo Maha.
Shangno Indra Brihaspati Shangno Vishnu Rukramaha.
Samno Indra Brihaspati Samno Vishnu Nukramaha.
Namaha Brahmane Namaha Devayu.
Namo Brahmane Namo Devayu.
Tameva Prataksham Brahmasi. Tameva Prataksham Brahma Bodhiswami.
Brahma
Sritang Bodhiswami, Satyang Bodhiswami,
Ritam Bodhiswami Shotam Bodhiswami
Uttamam Avatu, Tadbhaktaram Avatu,
Atmam Navotu Tadbhaktaram Navotu
Avatu Mam Avatu Bhaktaram.
Avatu Mam Avatu Bhaktaram.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Bhadram Karnevhi Sharvam Deva.
Ram Tanmeva Deva
Akshaviyayotra
Bhadram
Bhadram
Pashyamurvishnu
Pashyamurvishram
Yatraha
Hiranyangai Tustovangshotanuvihi Devahi Yatayu
Vayu
Shanti 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 Om Shanti
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 Shanti Shanti.
Shanti. Today we are going to start the discussion now. Today's discussion is the Divine Life Talk 278. The topic is Ishar Love, God Invasion. Today's session we are having from Toronto, Canada, from a hotel floor of Marriott here in Marriott Delta here in Toronto. And we had last Sunday, a discussion session, which has got a continuation for today. The continuation for today is the God realization or the vision of God. This is a direct approach to have a vision of God. There are various approaches, but I'm going to discuss only two approaches. One is uh, the transcendental approach through the process of meditation or meditative process, which includes a bit of yoga and a little bit of tantra in that. And the second one is the process of or the way of devotion. And these two combined, we are going to have the discussions for the day. This discussion is something which should not be taken as a intellectual discussion, or if it is kept at the level of intellectual understanding, then the real purpose of the discussion gets slightly denied. And therefore, my request or I urge upon everyone that if you're serious about God realization, then let's try to have or initiate a journey, or integrate your own journey with this, or even you can take cues from here and develop your own ways of the journey, or you can take ideas, or even you can have a just sensitization of your own pathways to proceed towards the realization of God. God vision and the God realization are considered more or less the same in our parlance, in the spiritual parlance of India. I'm talking about getting and giving reference to the Vedas. The Vedas is the origin of. There are a lot of other, mentions and other descriptions made by British scholars, 100 years or even sometime more in the previous period. And but many of those have been considered, have been analyzed, and now proved not really accurate. However, they gave some idea about the pathways of it. So on the entire thing, there was a intent of those scholars, guided by the government in the back, that the even the if the nation has to be splitted in the long run, if the nation has to be divided in the long run, it was actually thought 100 years before the actual division, almost 100 years. And so they had a long-term plan that, if you want to dominate a culture, that domination of the culture should be through the winning of the culture. So how can you win the culture unless that culture, particular culture, is a subsidiary of what we have and what the West holds on. So that way, if the intellectual exercise was done, and it was depicted that the invasion of Aryans were there, and prior to that, the non-Aryans were here, and there are a lot of similar kind of things which everybody has studied in the childhood days. And but then this theory has been proved, and there are a lot of supporting points to ridicule this theory and cancel and discard this theory. There was no Aryan invasion, there was no pre-Aryan or Aryan. It was the Indian, it was the Bharat, and that's dates back prior to Mahabharatan period, and it originates from the Vedic period. And all cultures in India, those who claim that they are different, they're actually not different. All cultures in India are having the same origin of the Vedas in different forms, in different ways. And in fact, I can prove that all the dominant cultures which are dominant now in the world in different names and different speeds and different doctrines according to that, they have got the roots in the Vedas in different form. However, the practices and the ways of lives have been, created in different manner. However, that does not make any difference to the fundamental urge. God is there, is universal. In whatever form you try to understand God is yours. Is the universality is there in our Vedas, and that has been echoed in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And he has very clearly mentioned, Ye yathaman prapadante tanks tatha yevaha bhajami aham. Meaning anyone who wants to worship or consider God in any way or his or her own way, I stand by, the God stands by, and God assures that he is going to satisfy or is going to appear or is going to be understood by that person in the way that person wants to understand God. So God is universal and he can do anything, and he's got the universal power in him. He is the creator of the universality, and he is the fundamental creator of the universe. He is the creator of time, the God in the form of Mahakal, the great time. And the great time is actually from, it's a timelessness, and it actually originates from T0, if at all we can perceive and conceive of that. T0 could be some time when God started, thinking of or having the wish to create something that is considered, that can be considered as T0, and T infinite actually continuing. We comprise a small spectrum within this flow of time. So whenever it was created, there was a purpose in the creation. The purpose in the creation was to affirm the truth of God, truth of divinity on earth in the creation. And if you have to establish the truth of divinity in that, then you have to understand what divinity stands for. What is actually the divinity? And the way, the method which is adapted to explore that, to identify some truth in that, to realize some part of it or the whole of it, this subject is known as spirituality. There are some even the famous monks who have translated some part of Vedas by saying atma and atman, the adhatyam. Adhatyam means sharir, which is the wrong concept. I should not name because highly honored persons. So, but that is the wrong concept, and the lineage of this school is a very respected lineage and having monasteries here in Canada, in every part of the world. Not every, but in most part of the world. But then that's a wrong concept. Adhyatam is not Shariram. Adhyatam is the spirit which drives the existence, spirit which creates the existence, and spirit which maintains the existence, and the spirit which drives the existence forward on the scale of time. And the subject of studying the effect of the spirit is spirituality. Spirituality is the subject wherein the effect of the spirit in the macrocosm and in the microcosm, this spirit, I'm going to explain, the spirit is having some presence in some form. And in fact, all the creation, the entire creation has got every unit of the creation, every human being for that matter, has got a uniqueness in the cultivation of the spirit or the presence of spirit within her or himself. So the spirit is the fundamental, and matter is a subsidiary of the spirit or subsidiary of the spirit. Matter is the subsidiary of the spirit, which is actually created by the spirit when spirit withdraws himself from, and when spirit withdraws from it, it becomes turns into matter. But however, the scientific study has actually proved that even inside the matter, some activity is there. All the molecules, if you open molecules, you'll find the atomic structure. In the atomic structure, you open, if you get inside, you'll find the movements, the vibrations of the particles inside. And if you again further open or penetrate in between, penetrate inside, you'll find the particles are arranged in such a way that there is a flow of energy. The moment there is a dynamism created in it, there is a flow of energy across, and with the flow of energy, it either absorbs energy or emits energy, and that can create a disaster, that can do a lot of good things for the human society or for the world. We have a lot of experiences, not to mention. So, this matter even has got a mobility within. Matter even is not, inert kind of thing, though we have to call it inert body. Matter is non-moving, but life is moving. Life has got its own vibration in different forms. Life has got this kind of vibration. And in this kind of vibration, life has got a structure which is slightly complex than the structure of the matter. And in this structure, I'm going to share a screen. Mr. Shanti Gopal Hazra is going to now share something. It's just hand depicted, just I've done a few minutes back. And this I'm going to share to explain. Uh, This has been mentioned by me in one of my publications, which is yet to come, and in elaborate terms. But then here I'm going to mention in nutshell. So this is what is, the structure of the thing. We call it the plexus. Plexus, there are 7 plexus, as most of you or all of you might be knowing. 7 plexus: Muladhara, Shadishtan, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya Chakra, Sahasrara. So these 7 are the plexus. Plexus is what? Plexus is a kind of a junction. Junction of what? Junction of certain things which comprise of the flow of things. I'm going to explain this little bit before I get into the nuances or the more intricate part of it. This is something which is from not borrowed from anybody. It is just, it's our own way of explaining. So I'm going to do that. So now we are doing, in parts, therefore we are making it slightly broader. The weight would be larger and up. So from the below, that's okay. So, first of all, it's a handwritten, the colors are different. I want to mention, you have the Shanti, একটু নিচে নামান ওই ইরা পিঙ্গলার লেখাটা দেখাবো. So little bit, right. That's all. So you find this is Ira, Pingala, and in between this is Shushumna. And this Shushumna is in between. The Sushumna. After this Sushumna is in between. Sushumna is a vertebral column having the vertebral pulp inside. This it's there inside. You'll find the backbone or the vertebral column contains the it's connected with the central nervous system. In fact, it's the guiding connecting organ throughout the body. It runs from tail end of the vertebral column up to the base of the head. And so from here you have the ida, when the consciousness is stored here, it is muladhara. And when it's muladhara is stored here, you will find the muladhara has got four petals. If we have to explain in terms of the petals, many scholars have explained in terms of scholars and practitioners. I should give a reference. For example, it has been mentioned by in the principles of Tantra and serpent power by Surgeon Woodruff in an elaborate manner. The source from where Surgeon Woodruff got is actually had a connection with Gopinath Kaviraj and then the Tantra of the Himalayan Tantra, meaning Kashmiri Himalayan Tantra school of that, wherein the Agarnathji was the top of that during that period. Agarnathji. So the discussion that we are making is slightly different from what the discussion of this Gopinath Kaviraj and this Arthur Abelin or Surgeon Woodruff combinedly, collectively, and differently they have depicted is different because they got it from actually Surgeon Woodruff had participated in the Akhra Tantra of these Agarnathji, according to the claims. And his Akhra in the Himalayan region was the most famous, and it's actually a secret stream of spiritual learning, but it was there. But there are some differences, which I'll explain later on if possible. But these are our own thing, which is actually, again, from the same stream, another person whom we had a first-hand direct and interaction with for some time, so a few days dedicated. And it's drawn from that. That's a long back. So Muladhara is a place which is the seedbed of the entire spiritual energy. Muladhara is the seedbed, meaning it's known as the Paramatman Matri Rupa, meaning the supreme in the form of a mother and this formless mother. What is the meaning? The meaning is it's got the enormous power to create. It's got the enormous power to identify and develop. So when you retrieve to that, if you are in a position to retrieve, then you get hold of a huge energy from there. And there are people who have made a lot of mistakes. This was actually a kind of strong warning given by Sri Ramakrishna Dev from Dakshineshwar when he is repeatedly mentioned that yoga vibhuti. That's what is mentioned in the Vibhuti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna to Arjuna also. God himself is present in different forms, and all the forms are revealed forms, and the revealed forms they are doing many good things. And he has gone to the extent of mentioning that the person and anybody in the world, anybody anywhere in the world, anybody anywhere in the world is mentioned that doing something good or having been in a position to understand, identify, develop, create, discover anything good has got the revelation of the divine in some form or the other. So God recognizes, so liberal, recognizes every contribution as a contribution supported by the energy and the force of the divinity. However, God identifies that whenever this is done in the right sense of the term, in the right direction, in the right orientation, then it gives, benefit, then it results into the benefits which are required of, or which are the intent of the divine. So in a dharma yuddha, or a war of righteousness, like in Mahabharata, the war of the Kurukshetra, that was a dharma yuddha, or the war of righteousness. In the war of righteousness, what was the objective? The objective was to, the dominate or destroy the unrighteous or the evil forces. Now, if you have to, put down or destroy the evil forces, then you have to also take up arms on your hands. So you have to pick up arms. You have to use the arms, and the moment you pick up arms and use the arms, what are you going to do? You're also going to be a party to destruction. But what is that you are going to destroy? You are going to destroy the evil forces, and by doing this destruction of the evil forces, what you can achieve a clean, place, a clean society to live, wherein the evil forces are marginalized or demolished, and through that you can develop a divinely orientation of the society, which would be for everyone equally in the equal sense of the term. But in order to do that, you need to have a path of painful, journey, and that path of painful journey is something where there are a lot of, distractions are involved. So Muladhara is some place where everything is there, meaning it's got goodness, it's got badness, it's got everything. So in that, what you find is, you find that in the Muladhara, you have four petals. The four petals as mentioned here, actually colors are not depicted here. You have got black, you got red, you got white, you got yellow. Each one has got a meaning. And this meaning is there when you do the practice, you understand the meaning. You'll find those who are interested, I'm giving two references. One reference is the letters of Pondicherry Mother, wherein the collection of letters you will find. In that letters, you will find some of the letters are there which are on meditation, and you look at the answers to the questions raised by many people, not many, some people, and who are doing the practice and having some issues and problems in between. Actually, that was the category of the transcendence. It was a yoga of transcendence or transcendental yoga. So when we do the Nash yoga is actually the ultimate form of the transcendental yoga. Yoga we have done a few times, but then that's whatever is permitted and possible in the public forum. Up to that, it has been done. But there are certain other dimensions which are not actually, this should be specific. The requirement of each person is different. That's why when you are serious about understanding, then accordingly it's revealed. So in the Muladhara, now what is the meaning of these four colors? Now you find you got a black, meaning all bad things are there. You want to identify whether greed is there, you'll find greed of all kinds are there. Greed, lust, all kinds are there. All devil things are there. So that's combined through a petal. That petal is a black petal. It's a flower having a black petal, meaning all devil things, all ugly things, all negative things, all shadow repeal, all are contained in there in the maximum form. It is there. Then you have got the opposite, the white. Is it pure? The pure Sachidananda Chitkan, the elemental consciousness, it's there in the form of the white petal as well. So you got a black petal, you got a white petal. You got the extreme badness contained in, you got extreme goodness contained in. Both are there. But again, at the same time, you got the red and yellow. Red and yellow talks about the dynamism. Dynamism is what? Red has got a tendency towards black. It pulls towards black. When it becomes deeply red, it becomes thickened, it turns into black. But when it's yellow, and the yellow, when it's, the chemistry of colors, if you study, you'll find it leads to that. The pigments would actually lead to the off-white zone, and from the off-white zone, you can turn into. So there is a possibility. From red to black, there is a possibility. And from yellow to white, there is a possibility. On the other hand, if some remedial is searched by some soul which they are combined, meaning encircled with the thoughts, the cultivation of things of pure black, sometimes become disgusted, sometimes become tired, sometimes out of tired condition of the consumptions, the consumptions on satisfaction. There's a story in the Mahabharata of Yajati and Nahush. The story of Yajati says that the Kamaha, the Najatuhu Kamaha Kamena Upabhogina Samyati, meaning these by enjoying these the sense organs, by enjoying the senses, you continue, keep on enjoying. Even if you do it for 1,000 years, it's never ending. It continues. It's like an endless lust, endless greed, endless kind of. It doesn't end. It doesn't stop. It continues unless you have the remedial, which is actually you have the power or the ability at least to extend your hand at least little bit. You extend your hand and expect a remedy. You expect a remedy and extend your hand, you will find you are getting someone pulling you up and getting you out of this zone of the black chains, and then you are getting pushed via something, and then you are getting pushed via the red zone, and from there you have got a remedy to further in the upper region. So you have the first remedy of the getting out of this into rage, and the next remedy, better one, is yellow, and the ultimate is white. But then let us, keep it like this at this stage. The remaining thing is individual, so one has to take the individual recourse for that. Now, the next level it comes to when the consciousness rises up. How do you do? That is the point I want to discuss again. So again, Panch Vayu is there. Prana, Apana, Samana, Vyana, Urana. We have discussed this separately in one or two sessions before. The discussions are there available on our satyarpad.org website, connections with the lecture sessions of the Sundays, or directly YouTube also you can get. And also you can get from your own way. So the Panchavayu works how? When we inhale air. So in the meditation, you do a alternate nostril breathing. In the alternate nostril breathing, what you do? You inhale air from one of the nostrils, hold for a while, then push it down, push it out through the other nostril, exhale through the other nostril. Give pause for a second or a fraction of it, and then you inhale again through the second nostril and hold it for some time and push it back, push it out from the first nostril. So this reverse cycle completes together cycle completes one cycle. One cycle of alternate nostril breathing is done. Now in this one cycle of alternate nostril breathing, what I've done is, while you inhale, the pranavayu comes in. Now, pranavayu comes in, so what does it do? Pranavayu has got a direct connection with the cardiac region. So first it hits at the cardiac region and then it moves up. So the organs, which are actually the coordinating and controlling organ of the human system, are supported by the pranavayu, not only cardiac and off, but also in the digestive system and in the nervous system. Of course, when it touches the brain and goes upward, it serves the punch the five organs of senses, which are the vision, the audibility, the taste, the touch, and and the smell. So this five organs of senses, they're actually coordinated by the pranavayu. Pranavayu is the positive flow in that and positive energy in that. It's stimulated. But the moment it stimulates the vital organs in the vital system, immediately it has got a multiplier effect, which is a fraction of second. And meaning fraction means very minute fraction. And immediately it continues, it covers the entire human system, entire human body. So what does it do? It actually helps in the process of transformation if you want. Now, who is the coordinating and who is the agent, making this happen? Who is the agent? It's been mentioned by Lord Krishna that, and also by Yamato Nachiketa while explaining the concept of Atman, that the mind is the coordinating factor, connecting cord. The meaning of connecting cord is the coordinating factor. Coordinating factor among what? The mind is actually coordinating. This is, Chetananga, Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankar, Chitta. These are four Chetananga, meaning the organs of consciousness. Now, mind can turn into organ of connecting the materials. It can continue as an organ of dual, meaning material and psychological, or it can transform into organ of spirituality. Now, when we are doing the practice, we take the mind as an organ of spirituality. So when you do the meditation, the ear touches down and it comes to with your intent. So what is the factor here? What is the sensitizing factor? What is your sensitization agent? Is the wish. Is the wish is the intent. The wish or the intent is stored in the mind. The entire creation is a creation through wish. And all subsequent creations are creations through wish. The functioning of the cells are also based on the wish. This has been very elaborately narrated by Sage Vasishta and somewhat elaborated by Atri. Later on, at later phase, by Sumanta and Angira, and elaborated in the Ayurveda, the stream of knowledge of Ayurveda, and this is the fundamental, pillar of two streams of spirituality. One is the yogic stream, the other one is stream of Tantra or the systems. So now mind. Assuming that the mind is asked to, maintain the purity. So you maintain the purity of mind. What is the meaning? The meaning is mind is not allowed to be or, made to tune to the disastrous, black colors which is there in the primordial mother energy at the Muladhara. Now, the primordial mother energy, when it is stimulated, if the wish has a purity, then it moves up to, navel region. If the wish has got some kind of, mixture, any kind of mixture, any element of desire, residing in the wish of the mind. So I'm just sharing. It's important today. That's why I'm just sharing one part of it. It's long back, almost 50 years plus. When the person came, he's also from the same stream which Agarnathji's own stream, and the person could not be traced afterwards. The person's name known was Bolanath, and he could, swim, meaning he could lie on the bed of the water, surface of the water. That's how he was a person whom many people came to see that, there is a person who can lie on the surface of the water. So then, when he took the very, tender person in me, and then he had shown certain things, certain areas of practice which are very, very secret areas of practice, and these are something which stimulates the, primordial energy from within. It's your wish which is controlled. Now, if you sense that the world expects this, and you have to satisfy the world through this, you just allow that, and you do that. And maybe you take up a work which is not your intent, but you are just, having some kind of connection with the world. So, in order to maintain the connection, you take up that and you do the work, but immediately you reverse it. So when the intent has got a mixture, then at the Swadhisthana you are caught. Then that's what Sri Ramakrishna has mentioned, as a kind of warning. Also, similar kind of warning in the reverse way is given by Sharadama also. She has given also similar kind of warning. But the contents are just the reverse, but the warning is similar. So the mind has to be pure. Mind has to be free from all this. How can it be? So what the yogic principle says that you have to repeat, and through repetition you can do. That's the yogic answer. The Tantra says that you have to, dedicate it to the fire, let fire burn it, let fire burn it. So there is a mandali, and in the mandali you have a burning fire. And in the burning fire, you are, taking refuge in Lord Shiva. And he's the only who can actually help you in this, and getting the mind out of all desires. He can actually pull you out, and with his support, then any form of god can do this. Any form of god in any way can do this, or any spiritual personality also can do this, but has to be there, his support somewhere in the background. So then if you can come out of this swadhisthana, then you are now in a position to proceed further. What are the things in the swadhisthana? You'll find swadhisthana also four petals. Here, there is a group form. Black and red forms a group, and white and yellow forms a group. There's a meaning. Black and red, what is a group? Black and red is a group which are actually usual or somewhat categorized for the kind of, desires which are actually satisfying this level. And white and yellow is a category which is, Patanjali has mentioned yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. So this is the level of pratyahara. How? The white and yellow is actually depiction of the pratyahara. Pratyahara is what? Is, instantaneous or gradual. It can happen at any point of time. You'll find a lot of, sages, even great personalities have talked so much about the points of desire to see. Talking much on the points of desire actually, engineers desire. So never talk about the points of desire. This is not a very important thing in life. Many people have made a mistake of getting into the discussion further and further and further. Because the moment you are caught in the discussion that you have got an MED but not purely, partly, then something had happened, then all this, then you will never be able to come out of this. What is the remedy? The remedy is you get a recluse to the other variety, yellow and white. What is the other variety? The other variety is your surrender to the divine. You just surrender to divine. You just give up to divine. You just give up to divine. What he says, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, that when you find that you are unable to give up the negatives of mind, he suggested that you have to do the war. But I suggest that you don't do the war with a kind of enmity in your mind. Though you are in the act of killing the enemies, but yet you cannot have the kind of filthy ideas about kind of, enmity with kind of, hatred for you. You should not. What are you doing? Actually, you are doing your duty. So the moment you take it up as a duty orientation, the act is the same, but the qualitative impact of the act is different. So even though the act is same, the qualitative impact is different. Lord Krishna was asked by Arjuna. Arjuna, when he had passed through a lot of different streams of yoga, for example, Shankha, then he's got many like sannyas yoga. Then he has got karma yoga in the beginning, karma, then sannyas, then dhyana, then jnana, then jnana vijnana, then raja yoga, and then everything, all this, including vibhuti yoga, all this right there. Then he comes to the point that I need to have some more convincing things, more compelling things. So not just convincing, but something which would compel me. Even if I have a irritating mind for some time, I'm not caught by that. I'm not swayed by that. Then I am unable to, get myself out of it. I am unable to resist this getting swayed on. Therefore, I consecrate upon, and I actually wish to surrender to the divine for a rescue. And I want a rescue. I want a handholding. Handholding, who does? The divine does. I believe that divine does the handholding. Handholding the divine does. And when I have the perception and a firm faith in this act of handholding by the divine, then I'm sure that it's going to happen, because I know he is the person who can do anything and everything. So that's why, when that person who's called Volanath was, and it was kind of got sprayed almost whole day. The child is not available. So probably the child has gone, is taken by somebody away, and then someone lost, and the mother had a, difficult problem for a few hours. And then when ultimately close to middle of the night he returned, then everybody found that yes, it's now back. So, but then it took almost 12 hours for the initial, for the briefing of the fundamentals, how to proceed on this and how to get it on throughout the life. And that's continued. And that was very sincerely, honestly continued and maintained. Because it is a message from, considered that it's a message from God, and you have to have it in life. And that gives you conviction that yes, something is there, which I believe that it's there, and then I have to follow that. The moment you follow that, you continue in that stream, and you find God realization is considered as a very, very difficult thing, and it's said that it Kurashadhara meaning it's so difficult, it's such a narrow pathway that, anything happens in mind, then you fall from there. All these are correct. I'm not saying these are not correct. All these are correct in their own way. But I've got a direct, method, and this direct method is, you don't have to depend on anybody in the world. You don't have to depend on anything in the world. No jangya, no, spending on that, no fees to be paid to him and somebody, no, training to be taken from anywhere. You don't have to do anything. You just have to have, yourself, concentrated on your. So you have to have the concentration to you. It was just mentioned by one senior person in the beginning, and that's what was in my agenda today. And I want to mention that ekagrata. Ekagrata is what? Is one pointedness of the mind, single pointedness of the mind. Ekagrata is what? Meaning when you are, even that's impact, that's important for our empirical learning. That's important for our work of life. That's important for our professional activities. That's important for our work of the society. Ekagrata. Meaning if you are vacillating, if you are, moving from this to that, then you can't do anything. It was given in, mentioned by Sri Ramakrishna through an example. He gave an example of, he said, Khandani Chasha, meaning what? A profound and capable, cultivator. The person plows and cultivates, and he's a Khandani, meaning he's a person with a long-term views and long-term focus. And he understands his soil. He understands the conditions of the nature in terms of the soil and the growth on the soil. He understands things. And 1 year, if he finds the soil doesn't yield, the yielding capacity of the soil is not that much because the water was not poured in from the sky. The clouds were not there. The rains were not there. So the crops were very less. Next year also could be less. Now this person does not change the position. It continues and continues with the same kind of elaborative and penetrative attention to the action of his or her. And then through that, once he finds or she finds that yes, the favorable condition has occurred, and through this favorable condition, he can win now the game of life. So he can now win the game of life. Similarly, when it comes to the spiritual practice, it's your consistent effort. It's your concentrated effort which has to be given. For example, ekagrata, you have to have. Ekagrata on what? You have to identify the point. You want to have a focus point, but what is that focus point? Is that focus point comprising of many things? Anything good and anything dazzling you find anywhere in the world, and then you are attracted to that. Is it like that? A vacillating kind of? Or you have got a fixed point, ekagrata, that you have identified that, yes, this is the concept of my God. And I want to dwell on this, and I want to have my mind focused on this. And with this, when I want to have my mind focused on, then what I find is, I find that, I have got my, complete peace within this. If you have the peace as an objective, then you're God. But if you have got the ekagrata or the single pointedness as the objective, then peace comes as the associate factor. What is the peace? Peace is not the absence of talks in the world. Peace is by the poise of mind, is the steadiness of the mind. Come what may, you have no problem. If you are into let's say you are into, thoughts of God. You're sitting somewhere and having thoughts of God, and there are a lot of murmurs, chords here and there on the outside, and your ear, meaning everything is full of filthy things, disturbing things, distracting things. then you are also distracted. If you are distracted, then you are lost. Ekagrata means you are not distracted or even touched upon by anything else than what you are actually focusing on. If you intend to focus on other thing for some reason, for some rational reason, then that's different. But you don't get distracted, against the notion of yours. So when you are focused on a point, remain focused on that point and absolutely remain focused on that point. Never get distracted or deviated from. So if that happens, then white and yellow, this combination becomes your choice and flow and the power. The moment that is there, you easily cross the Swadhisthana and you reach the Manipura. If it is not there, even there, entangled at the level of Swadhisthana, and you pass your life or your activities based on the desires, fulfillment of desires, and different types and varieties of desires, and a lot of social problems, social, disharmony, everything, splits of the societies and other units are happening everywhere, all because of the mind having got blocked and there. And mind is getting tainted by that, and this is a place which actually inspires the literature very much. Even some part of philosophies are also inspired by that, because this is very in a palatable. Anything that touches the zone of desire, it's very palatable. So Swadhisthana is a place which is palatable, meaning which is sensual, meaning it stimulates your senses and gets your senses attracted to. So now social activities, cultural activities, all almost 100%, maybe 1 or 2% left, are entangled with this. That's the thing. Even the good words, even the words mentioning or attempting to mention the thoughts of God and thoughts of divinity, all are connected to this. All are getting transcribed in that form. So that's pseudo thoughts of God, pseudo divinity. That's a misnomer, and that's more distracting than others. So now the spiritual practitioner, the serious person, would do what? Would now take out of that, come out of that, and reach the navel region, now Navi Padma, or the Manipura. Manipura is a very important region. Manipura is a transition. As has been mentioned, Manipura, now there is a crossover between Ida and Pingala. Now let's come to the functioning of Ida, Pingala, and Shushumna. Without that, we cannot understand the changeover of the vitals in the Manipura. Manipura is actually the continuation. Every person on earth, all 800 crores human beings, if it is more or less, meaning more or less, all have passed through the, disconnect of the cord from the cord of his or her mother. And that disconnect of the cord is through this level of the Manipura, the navel. Navel is the centric region which can reach out to any part of the human system immediately, instantaneously. And there are a lot of research work now going on. For example, when a person has got a oral cancer or the esophageal cancer, or kind of that, then can some kind of vitalization be made through the navel? And it's possible now. There is some method and technology also developed, which is now making it happen. But it's not very easy. It's a difficult and arduous process. But then again, I'm not into that. Those are the matters of those who are giving remedy to human health and remedy to human existence in a medical point of view. So here we are actually talking about the transcendence in terms of the spirituality, the spirit, transcendence of spirit, which is again a prevention and preventive to all kinds of evils of the human society. If you can maintain that, if you can maintain, for example, when you are destined to, now we can argue that the great men, many of the great men could not live longer. Yes, it is true. Shankaracharya could not. Sri Chaitanya, or it said did not. Sri Chaitanya, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and many others. They did not have a very long span of life and a shorter span of life. Then if it is so that, cultivation of divinity can take you out of this impact of evils, then why does it happen? So it's the wish which guides and governs everything. If you found that the world across has not become the, there was a message given through the radio of Akashvani on the expires of Sri Aurobindo by Pondicherry Madhar. In that message, she had mentioned, it was a very brief message. I can have this from the, the uh, complete works of Mother or the Pondicherry. There are a lot of mentioning there. You can get it from many sources. In that message, just a part of that I'm mentioning, she had mentioned that the divine chose to restructure the, I'm telling in my own language her point of message, restructure or redefine the art consciousness at a separate spell of time. This is what is a, one part of the message in my language. And if you want to translate that in a usual balance of the things, you'll find that means in his span of activity, it's chosen that this part now, so you have to wait for some time for the art consciousness to come up to certain, somewhat ahead of its own position, so that it understands the nuances of the journey of consciousness in the universe. Now here, the question of the microcosm and the macrocosm has to be clarified. Macro is macroeconomy, many people and almost everybody knows macro is the entire. Usually macroeconomy for us, it's taught in the class that it's for the nation. It's not for the nation, it's for the world, one society. Similarly, macrocosm is existence of everything in the world. So it talks about the total existence of things in the world. Now, when it's the total existence of things in the world, what you have is, the total existence has got a, minute existence, so microcosm, one individual human being. So one individual human being, is it connected to the macro? Now, normally we understand how are we connected. Now today I'm here in the North American zone in Canada. Yesterday I had a lecture before the many of them are Indian Canadians, meaning origin India, now Canadians for a very long period. Some people are 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. Many people are like that. And then many are there who are highly established, are owners of large size enterprise, medium size, small size, like this. So, this is the context. Now, microcosm has got, is got connected with the entire universe or not? It is actually connected. So how is it connected? The saints long back in the Rig Vedas, they had said, you are connected with Panch Mahabhuta. Panch Mahabhuta. Shiti, Apaha, Teja, Marut, Bam. Shiti is this earth system, the soil. It's not just soil, it's the soil and water surface. It's the surface of the earth. Shiti, meaning is the soil, is the water surface, is the the woods, the forests, the hills, the Himalayas and the hills of the world, everything put together. So that's the Shiti. Then this the earth system. then apaha, water. Now, whatever is there, on top of that, you need some water. Without the source of water, life cannot be sustained and cannot be taken forward. So, water is a very important ingredient, and that should be a cosmic source of water, universal water. Now, those who are doing agricultural science, they understand that the rainfall water is, if you have got a harvesting in a rainfall water properly, then the quality of the harvest is different from when you are doing that with a artificial supply of water. You don't get all the required minerals in that, and also some inputs of vitamins in that in the output. So, the water, then teja, the fire. Fire is there everywhere. Two pieces of dry wood, wooden log, if you rub together, or two pieces of stone, if you rub together, you get fire. A sage had asked, where from this fire comes? A junior had asked to the senior, and then he said, Agni Abhibhutaha. Agni, this fire is there, which is contained in that physical substance. So every physical substance has got a content of fire. And now we find that it's so much so that the uranium, one particle of uranium can cause so much of disaster for the world through the content of fire that it has. And for that matter, every particle has got at varied degree the content of fire, and the human system is also having. So this heat energy or the fire or the energy is also an essential thing which is provided by the cosmic system. Teja, Marut. So then without this prana shakti, the prani vayu, the prana vayu, you can't survive. So air is something which is vital for everything. It has to flow, it has to be everywhere, and it is there. Uh, 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 so, uh, mm, and so it is a fundamental element. And the vacuum, Voma is the vacuum, the void. Element of vacuum, the void is there in all molecular existence, all nuclear existence, all particle existence, and in the entire cosmic system. So entire microcosm is connected with the macrocosm through the Panch Mahabhutam, meaning the five different physical elementary universal system. This physical elementary universal system is common to all the microcosm, all the individual lives on earth. And then Arjuna had asked, it was triggered by Arjuna's question, that God had revealed his form. Manyashe yadi tad itchakang maya drashtum iti prabho yogeshwaraha tatoho me twang darshayan atmanaha abhaya. This was a question raised by Arjuna. The meaning of is, if you think that I am competent to see your ultimate form, do please open up your ultimate form before me, or give me the sense that I can understand that. Then in answer, Lord says, Pashya me partha rupani shatosham atho sahasrashaha nana vidhani divyani nana varnaha avarnaha akrite nicha. I am present in so many colors and non-colors, present in so many hundreds, thousands, we can say billions, trillions of forms. I'm present in so many diversified, things. So you see that, and this begins the Vishwarupa Darshan, meaning the cosmic form of the God revealed to Arjuna. Now, how Arjuna could understand? This is what is happening in Manipur. If you can transcend the barriers of Manipur, you can do that. How can you transcend? When the Panchavayu comes, Pranavayu comes, then Apanavayu goes to the downward. What does it do? It, Apanavayu creates all these collects, and then, it removes that and makes it, free from. Meaning, You are doing the cleansing of the entire system, mind cleansing and the body cleansing. And once it's done, then you have got a place to handshake. So now Ida and Pingala are doing a handshake. So is the white and the black, they are doing the handshake, meaning white or the white and the orange together, and black and the deep blue together. They're doing a handshake, meaning crossing over. Now, the moment it crosses over, it's kind of the X chiasma. Now, when it's kind of X from this side, it goes to right to left, it ups, and left to right, it goes up. So the moment it does that, then it proceeds to the next level of cardiac level, where medically we know, physiologically we know that it's the cleansing of the blood. It's actually the process of spiritual process. The spiritual process, it goes, the consciousness goes up and it reaches the cardiac system. And how does it go up? It doesn't go up unless this crossing over the chiasma is created. How does it create? That the moment when it reaches the navel region, if the navel region has got a ultimate call or imposition of the macrocosm on the micro. So macro is having an impact at the level of the micro, then macro is the pulling power. The macro is God. So is now the divine intent is pulling you up, your consciousness up. When the divine intent is pulling your consciousness up, then consciousness goes up to the anahata. Anahata is the region which is connected with the cardiac region, and it's said that Atman is residing within the cave of the heart, and in the cave of the heart, what happens is when the consciousness reaches there, it now pours in the positive energy towards going further up, and it gives you the idea of the thoughts and idea of God, and you can have a perception of God here in your own way, the form of God, the form God in the form of a color, in the light, in a different form, or in some form, or in the form of void, and then it moves up further. When it comes further, then it comes to the Vishuddha region. When it comes to the Vishuddha region, which is a region of Reek. Reek is Vak. Vak is words. Words is not just any word; it's but the word of God. So you've got a thought of God here. When you are doing a mantra, those who are doing a japam of the mantra, they have got a target to reach out to this, Vishuddha. Vishuddha is what, as Sri Ramakrishna, if you find in the gospel, it's written, described very clearly. He says that when the consciousness comes here, you have got always, you think of God, always when you talk in terms of anything, and somewhat of the goodness and somewhat of God, somewhat of noble things comes in. So you're now always, immersed in that. That's why, one of the book is mentioned, the Vedosnan. Vedosnan is what? The concept of God, you are deluged in the concept of God, drenched in the concept of God. So when you're drenched in the concept of God, then the words do emanate from you, release from you, is oriented to God. Then you move up, the Ida, Pingala, Sushumna converges to each other, and it all combines and it comes to the forehead and the place of the third eye. And in the place of the third eye, what do you have? You have got an understanding of that divinity, and then you have your own God in your own form, and you've got a vision. Arjuna is now having a vision, having gifted with this kind of consciousness by Lord the Supreme, Lord Krishna. And then at the Sahasrara, it is known as the Shastra, the infinite number, many petas, all colors are there, but then no addiction to any of the colors. No color for you, it's a colorless, it's a Shiva. Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoho Aham, Shivoho Aham. Here at this stage that Lord Shiva stays and nothing else. Here at this stage, you are the Shiva, the Brahman, Sanatana. He is there. He is the timelessness. No time, no barrier, no space, no identity, no spatiality, nothing, no uniqueness. It's all transcendent. It's all, deluged in the infinite ocean of the transcendence. And in that, you visualize your God. You have a darshan. Arjuna has a darshan. Arjuna has a vision. Arjuna has the God vision now. Arjuna's God vision is now so important that in this God vision, Arjuna understands that, he has to consecrate before God. He has to dedicate himself to God. He has to have the, devotion of God taken forward and the urges of God as his own urges, as a kind of compelling urges for that. That's why when he had understood this, he had said that, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to do whatever you say. And then I have now understood. I have understood what? What is your intent? So the person now understands the divine intent and moves forward. Now the question could come from an empirical mind saying that why do I move forward to have a God realization? What is the impact and effect of that in my daily life? It's a very pertinent question. Anybody can ask this question, and I welcome this kind of questions. Though I have, given elaborate, reasons and meanings of this in my Bhagavad Gita, Gita for Work and Life, but that's yet to come in the market and for people. So, it's known to everybody that when you have a transformation in the entire system, entire living organism, entire the transformation in terms of the consciousness within, then the consciousness now orients to the thoughts. And as you all know, the thoughts are the impelling factors and the controlling factors for the works. And works are there in the world, and the world of humans is a composition and is a combination of some total of the contributions of thoughts and works of everybody in the world. And therefore, when there are changes, elemental changes from some people at least, and the elemental changes will infuse the changes in the entire cosmic system, beginning with the social system or the regions connected with. So it is having an impact of transformation in the civilization. So it's got a final, objective to have a new civilization wherein human being has got a new kind of perception, new kind of orientation, new kind of thoughts, new kind of beliefs, new kind of relations, and new kind of behaviors, and emanating from the new kind of characters developed by it. So then the consciousness would reside at a level above the navel, and it's anahata, vishuddha, agnya, any of these, the consciousness shall reside, and the person will be into all the walks of the world, but at the same time will be tuned to God all the time once the person has got the realization of God. And then that's why Arjuna now consecrates upon the divine and utters the mantra Tamaksharan Paramam Veditabhyam Tamasya Vishasya Param Nidhanam Vitvashi Vidancha Param Chadhama Tvaya Tatang Visham Anantarupa Tamaksharan Paramam Veditabhyam Aksharan, meaning you are someone, you are that supreme who could not be, who cannot be described in any way, described by any words, who is the primordial, who is the origin, who is prevalent, who is now present, who is the future, who is the destiny. You are that. And Paramang Veditavyang, you should be worshipped, you should be offered consecration by everybody. Tamasya Vishwasya Paramam Nidhanam. You have created this entire cosmic system, this universe, and you have created the creatures of this universe to settle in and to move forward. I convey my regards, my pranam to you. I dedicate myself to you, O the Lord, O the Supreme, O the Transcendental Being. You be in this universe and you offer that energy to the system of individuals, motivation to the system of individuals, mental orientation to the individuals on earth so that the new civilization, the godly civilization, can be walked on. হে প্রভু সচ্চিদানন্দ পরব্রহ্ম সনাতন, যিনি চাইছেন এই পথে এগিয়ে আসতে তিনি সহযোগ প্রাপ্ত হন। Thank you. We're now going to do the Vedic chanting once again. আমরা এখন বেদ মন্ত্র পাঠ করব, সবাই পার্টিসিপেট করুন। ওম বাগ্মে মনসি প্রতিষ্ঠিতা, মনঃ মে বাচি প্রতিষ্ঠিতা।
मे मनोषि प्रतिष्ठितं मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् मेधि
विपश्यामानिष्ठाः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहसिः
वेदस्यामानिष्ठः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहसिः
रामनन्दं संभ्रमामि इदं वदिष्यामि भवतु
ॐ
ॐ शान्ति वाक्प्राणस्तिषु इन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदा
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदाम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यात् माम ब्रह्म निराकरो
माहं ब्रह्म अकुर्यात् माम ब्रह्म निराकरोति
निराकरणमस्तु निराकरणमेस्तु
अनिरकर्मं अनिरकर्म मे अस्तु
धर्मस्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
धर्मस्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ पूर्णमादः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमुदच्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ सहनोऽवतु सहनो भुनक्तु
ॐ ज्ञानवतु शमभुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
ब्रह्माभ्यं कर्वावहे
दीनोऽधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनावधु मा विद्विषावहे
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
ॐ शान्तिमित्रः शाम्बरुणः शान्नो भवति अर्जुनः
ॐ मित्रयो शम्भुरुनः शं भवति अर्यमः
शान्नो इन्द्रः बृहस्पतिः शान्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः
शं नो इन्द्र बृहस्पति शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः
ब्रह्मणे नमः देवायु
नमो ब्रह्मणे नमो देवाय
देववृताक्षं ब्रह्मसि
सत्यं ब्रह्मस्ति
त्वामेव प्रत्याक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि
स्वामी सत्यं वदिष्यामि
रीतं वदिष्यामि सतं वदिष्यामि
मभवतु तद्वक्तारमभवतु
तद्मां भवतु तद्भक्तरामभवतु
मामभूतु भक्तारम्
भवतु भक्तानाम्
शांति शांति शांति
ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः
ओम भद्रं कर्णे भीषणां देवा
Om
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः
भद्रं पश्येमाक्षवीययोत्राः
भद्रं उषेमाक्षभिर्यजत्रः
स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांशतनोभिः यत् आयुः
देवहितं यदायुः
शांति शांति शांति
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Shanti.
You can now do 2 minutes of meditation. 2 minutes of meditation now. 2 minutes ধ্যান এখন সবাই করবেন. 2 minutes of meditation. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Now closing for the day. আমরা আবার আগামী রবিবার অনুষ্ঠানের টাইম 5:30 মিনিটে হবে। Wish you all the best. Wish you all
স্যার প্রণাম নেবেন
প্রণাম নেবেন স্যার স্টার্টিং
স্যার প্রণাম নেবেন
প্রণাম স্যার প্রণাম স্যার
all the best.